Hi everybody. So I realized I have not done a whole lot about narcissistic parents and narcissistic family members. It's mostly about narcissistic spouses, significant others, and ex-spouses and significant others. And not a whole lot about family. I apologize, it's dark. I want to talk about narcissistic parents and perhaps other family members and their poisonous use of gift giving. Now, in another video, in an earlier video that I did, I used a term that is quite commonly used, maybe these days not so much, because it's racially insensitive, but it's very relevant. And the term is Indian giver, and that term comes from the practice of, in the colonial days, giving poisoned bed sheets and, or not poisoned, but disease-laden goods to Native Americans who had no disease resistance, right? So smallpox, and some of these other European diseases, they would take the sheets of their sick, and then they would go conduct deals with Native Americans, and give them these disease-ridden sheets. And the Native Americans would accept it, and then their tribes would get wiped out. So that's a term that's used, and it's less and less used these days just because of racial sensitivity. I don't know that there's an alternative term, so I'm going to just use it as toxic gift giving, or describe it as toxic gift giving, because I think that's a little more PC. But at the same time, toxic gift giving does not carry with it the colorful illustration that the term Indian giving has. Please don't judge me on that. I'm not racist. I'm just using a racist term to describe something that is very real and probably happening to you. So, how do they do it? What do they do? Why? And all the information you need to know about this. So, keep in mind, your narcissistic parent had a specific use and purpose for you as a child, and that was unconditional love. You were more like a pet, and they probably still treat you like a pet. Think of the life of a dog. Everybody loves dogs. They're man's best friend. We love dogs because they're so wonderful and friendly, and no matter what, they just love us. They're cute, they're furry, they're exciting, they're warm. They're a member of the family. They're wonderful, wonderful creatures. Think about the life of a dog for a minute. The life of a dog's not all that great. They spend all day in an empty home or an empty yard, except maybe with the other animals. They don't get much freedom at all, if ever. The very second that they do gain independence and gain freedom, they get punished, searched for, repossessed and brought back. We even have microchips on them, so if they're not happy where they're living and they want to try and go find someplace else, the authorities can pick them up and bring them right back to the home that they don't want to be in. Your dog's independence, i.e. when they get out of the yard, when your dog gains independence, it's very, very inconvenient for you. It's very irritating, very frustrating, very enraging. I can't think of anybody who's ever been like, "All right, about time my dog got out." So to a narcissistic parent who has little to no empathy, not a lot of attachment, and has a specific purpose for you, which is unconditional love, you're very much like a pet. And And as you get older and older and start to gain your independence more and more and more, that's like that dog getting out of the yard more and more and more. And what's irritating about it is when you want to pet your dog, you want to have your dog there on command, on tap, ready to show you love, affection, and attention. You know, come here, boy, come here. I'm actually in a mood to come see you. And what happens? Your dog comes running, all happy, like, oh, yay, finally. Finally, somebody to love and show me love and to focus my love on. As you get older, more independent, get out of the yard more. So now your narcissistic parent wants to get their dose of unconditional love and affection. They can't get it. They get irritated. They go tracking you down. They start walling you in, fencing you in, to keep you from being independent, to keep you from developing, more importantly, to secure that supply for themselves. So, what does this have to do with toxic gift giving? Well, simply put, there's not really a simple way to put it. The toxic gift giving serves several purposes. Number one, they've got to feed their ego somehow. They have to feel important, and there's several different ways that they can feel important. They can feel important by receiving love, but they can also feel important by destroying you, by causing problems for you, having power over your life. If they can have power over your life, that shows them that they're important. If you want to show you have power over somebody, what you cannot do is set yourself up to be powerless, right? So let's say, for example, in the example of toxic gift giving, they can say, hey, I bought you this trinket as a gift. Here you go. And you say, oh, I appreciate it, Mom, but I don't need this. I don't want this. I can't use this. I think it's better for you to get your money back. If you even want, I'll take it to the store. A normal person would just be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. I appreciate you offering to take it to the store. Just, give me the cash, or you keep the cash and get you something that you want. The gift is yours. However, when it's a toxic gift, and you say, oh, gee, thanks, Mom, but I appreciate you trying to give me the gift, but I just have no use for this. It would just get in the way, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, you never appreciate anything I ever do for you. And then they jump down your throat, right? So what's the correct move? The correct move is accept, in their mind, you better accept the gift or else. Accept this gift and make me feel special so I can get my validation that way, or else I'm going to prove myself, I'm going to prove my importance anyway. So you can either recognize I'm important by receiving this gift, or you will recognize that I'm important because of all the pain I'm going to put you through. Very similar to the parenting style of, you can either turn off the TV and play quietly, or you can turn off the TV and go to your room. Which would you rather do? And I say, well, I'd rather turn off the TV and play quietly. Well, then that's what you need to do. That's what you do to a kid. You get older, like try saying that to an adult. You can either turn off the TV and sit here and play quietly, or you can turn off the TV and go to your room. You say, you know what, fuck you, I'm leaving. Right? Oh, well, that didn't work. So they have to persist that parental power play into adulthood, right? So if you accept the gift, You've accepted that they have done something nice for you. And this is where the toxicity comes in. Because for every gift you accept, you know that in the future, you're going to have to hear about it saying, I've always done nothing but good things for you. I give you so many gifts. And it's funny because you're always willing to take a gift from me. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for everything you do. But then when I need something, you're like, oh, no, I don't think I can. Which is why you don't want to accept the gift in the first place. And they try to force it on you anyways so they can use it later. So you see the construct, how they take something that in normal social context is pretty easily navigated. What they do, they put you in a construct where you have no choice but to fail, no choice but to be a piece of shit, no choice but to have to hear about it, no matter what you do or don't do. Well, so what do? Well, if you don't have much choice in the situation, then just simply don't respond, don't acknowledge. If it's something you don't want or don't need, bring it in the door, leave it in the packaging, tape the receipt to it. Say, did you get the gift I gave you? Yeah, I got it, thanks. And let that be it. They're going to bring it back up again. And the next time they bring it up, then you can say, you can tell them, I actually haven't ever even used it. It's still in the box. If you want it back, I can give it back to you, or we can exchange it for something else. Because they're not going to expect that. I'm always giving you gifts. Just the other day, I bought you blank. Yeah, it's still in the box, actually. If you want it back, I can give it back. I really just don't. I haven't used it, so if it was that big of a deal, then you can have it back. Or you can donate it to the Order of the Purple Heart. They're one of my favorites. They're 100% volunteer, and they will come to your front porch and pick up your donation off your porch. So you just put whatever it is you don't want on the porch, call Order of the Purple Heart, and it disappears as if by magic. And then you don't have to worry about your donation padding the pockets of some fat cat CEO. It's all volunteer. 100% of the proceeds and donation goes to people that need it. It's a great organization. I love them. And yeah, that's about all I got on this one. Recognize that anytime that a narcissistic parent comes to you, you're the dog. They want you to be kept in the yard. They want whatever affection or attention or validation that they need to get from you, and that's your job. It was your job as a child when you were more pet-like, and it's still your role now, but now that you have independence, they're either going to validate their ego by your affection, appreciation, and attention, or they're going to validate their ego by causing pain, misery, destruction, and having control over your life. Because just like that shit they told you whenever you were a kid, you can either do as you're told, or you can go to your room. What would you rather do? Well, when you do as you're told, then that makes them feel powerful. When you tell them to go to their room, it still makes you feel powerful. I own you. I control you. You have these two choices. Do what I say, and you will do what I say because I control you. And they have to be able to prove to themselves that they can still do it. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, comment, or share. I'd love to hear your stories, and I'll see you on the next video.